I'm ready.
All right, cool. Great to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out. I know you're in Dallas. I'm coming from Kansas City, and I want to begin our conversation with surviving this pandemic. How did you get through that 4-year time period, and how did it ultimately change the way that you do things now?
Joe, life is always going to throw challenges at you. And, when we went through the pandemic, as a company, we did actually a lot of events. So we definitely couldn't do events because you're not able to get in public with people. So we pretty much put together an online community and did all of our education and our focus groups, through different Facebook groups, communities, also did a lot of Zoom presentations and just focused on keeping people engaged in that education process. We do a lot of personal development as well here at the company. Another thing that we did is we added an app here at CorVive. That way we can follow everyone's workout programs, their macros, also be able to communicate with them on text. So all of our customers, we can see what their workout programs are, see what their macros are, communicate with them on a daily basis through the messaging of the app. And that's something that's been a big critical role for us to not only sustain, our current people that are ordering products on a daily basis, but to also for them to share with friends and say, hey, you don't have to go out in society because of the pandemic, but you can plug into this community. Because at the end of the day, we as Americans, one of the things that we thrive on is that human interaction. It's that community of always being able to have someone to lean on, especially in the industry I'm in, with sports, health industry, in the nutrition industry. The first time that someone decides that they want to transform their body and go on a new, phase of life, so to say, there's always two or three friends around them, like, let's go to happy hour, let's go eat a cheeseburger, that type of thing. So building that online community and finding a way for people to be able to interact with us continuously, that is something that really helped elevate our business out of the epidemic.
So here in 2024, if I put you in front of a bunch of third grade students at career day, and one of the kids wanted to know what you did for a living,
Mhm.
how would you answer them?
I would say I educate people with nutrition, the importance of nutrition and fueling your body, not only from an athletic standpoint. We do a lot with athletes, young athletes, pro athletes, all different phases. But just the education of nutrition and the importance of, if you wake up in the morning, you eat Fruit Loops, you're going to see a lack of performance throughout the day versus eggs and some good proteins into your diet. So, and another thing too, that with that third grade class, of letting them know that nutrition can be fun. A lot of times we think that a third grader is not really going to understand, about nutrition, but you've got to make it fun. Don't just say eat your protein. Say, hey, here's a good protein snack. CorVive has a protein product that has grass-fed whey and collagen. We're going to mix it with yogurt. We're going to make it taste like a chocolate pudding. May even put a few dark chocolate chips in it to that way it still tastes good for them. But mainly with third grade education, it's all about letting them know that nutrition is not only important for you now, but the quicker you learn the importance of fueling your body correctly, it's going to help you perform at whatever you want to do in life. If you want to be an IT engineer, if you want to be a pro baseball player, but understanding the importance of nutrition.
So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
Man, I think pro athlete is was what I wanted to be, and I was headed in that direction. Had a great career, but injuries did not allow for that to happen. But and really, Joe, back then, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 48. They didn't have no internet. You
Yeah.
didn't have the chance to learn about running a podcast or to learn about being an entrepreneurial. I knew I needed to make a lot of money. I watched my mom and dad, who's great people. They always struggled financially, living on a farm and ranch, and that was the only way I knew that I could make a lot of income is through pro athletics. And so that was the reason I chose that. And two, I've always loved pushing my body. I've always loved training, always loved nutrition from a young age. But definitely I wanted to be a pro athlete in the third grade. If I couldn't do that, then I probably wanted to be something in the agricultural field.
So who's been a hero for you, an inspiration in your life?
There's been several. I would say number one, my dad. My dad was a very good, hardworking Christian man that taught me the values of hard work and treating others like you want to be treated. I think so much. I do a lot of training on servant leadership, and so many times in business, people are looking to sell someone something or bring something to someone to purchase for they can make income, and they don't focus on that person's problems and issues and how we can solve those problems in people's lives. And that's probably something that my dad has really helped me understand at a young age. And then next is probably my brother. There's three brothers, four of us total. My older brother, he pastors a large church in Oklahoma, and just watching the way he interacts with people, the watching how he deals with issues, and he's taught me so much, and as far as being that example, number one, but teaching me that problems can be a good thing. Problems mean you have growth going on. A lot of people think, well, I don't have no problems in my life. You're probably not doing much if you don't have problems. But educating me on when you have a lot of little issues on a daily basis, running a nutrition company now, sometimes in my morning meetings with my customer service or, working with the shipping departments or R&D, when I am bombarded with all these little issues, I just smile and say, man, growth is happening. That's a great thing. And that's something I learned from my older brother.
So if you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating or interesting, who would it be?
It'd be Tom Brady. Tom Brady is something that, I really just admire. He didn't have what you would say that natural abilities from an athletic standpoint, but he didn't let that keep him from being, in my opinion, one of the top NFL quarterbacks of all time. And another reason for that love is obviously I'm in the nutrition business and how he learned the importance of taking care of the body. A lot of times athletes, when they're very athletic, they just play on their athletic ability. They're going to have a short season. They're going to have 4 or 5 year run. And what he did for the longevity of what he, continued to do that. And then just his leadership. I mean, I know there's a quarterback in the NFL, I think it's Russell Wilson, that, he didn't even text his linemen. He didn't talk to his people. He kind of sheltered himself. Like I'm a bigger and better than you guys. And watching how Tom Brady, was the leader of example by communicating with the offensive line, the defensive line. It didn't matter who it was. He said, guys, we're on one team here, and I'm no better than you guys. We're in this together.
Yeah. So what is your motivation every day to do the work that you do, to get up and to not only do the work well, but to also evolve yourself as a person?
Impacting people's lives, Joe, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife and I, we actually retired once. I made a lot of millions of dollars in a nutrition company, sold my percentage of that and my position, and raised my boys on the ranch for about 4 years. And I don't regret that. That was some of the greatest times we've had as a family in Colorado. We lived in a, nice 12,000 square foot lodge on several thousand acres. And but I found my place in life that I thought if I had the millions in the bank and had that ranch, then I would always be fulfilled. And I found out that, what, I wasn't fulfilled because it wasn't about the money in the bank. It was, do I have a purpose in life to go out every day and be the best I can be? And my efforts on a daily basis, is it going to be an effort that can make an impact in people's life? Because once you make an impact in people's life, it don't stop there. It has a trickle effect of continuing going. And that's what my purpose is on a daily basis. When I jump out of bed, I definitely take care of self first, getting my workouts in, doing everything I can do to be the best I can be in the day. But as my efforts on a daily basis have an opportunity to make a big impact in people's lives, physically, spiritually, mentally, all aspects, that is so important for people to live not only a long life, but a good quality of life.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Best advice I've ever gotten is probably from a book from Andy Andrews. And the book basically breaks it down and says it's called The Traveler's Gift. And it basically says you're responsible for the choices that you have made. We live in life where people want to blame their boss if they didn't get a raise. People want to blame the politics if they didn't make a lot of money. People want to blame, the COVID happened and hurting their business. And I'm not saying that
Mm.
some of those things don't affect it, but for example, when I was going through a bad time in my life, I was actually farming myself, and had some tragedies happen where I lost a lot of money. And in the start of this book, this man in the book, he started off with, he just got through getting a divorce. He lost his job. His daughter's in the hospital, and he's complaining about why is life not fair. And an angel come to him and say, hey, you chose to go to college to get this degree. You chose this job. You chose to get married to this lady. You chose to have a kid. And I think we don't want to always have that responsibility for on our own, that we made those choices. And our outcome is going to be based on the choices that we choose daily. And we're going to choose wrong choices, right? I mean, we're going to make mistakes, but are we going to blame others on those mistakes and have a victim mindset? Or are we going to say, these are the choices I've made? I've learned, I failed. That's okay. I educated myself on my failures, and I'm going to get up and go again.
So at the end of the day, of everything that you've done and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
I'm probably the proudest of, again, going back to my efforts really have impacted people's lives. I mean, I've gotten, tons of letters, emails, text on a daily basis of, you know what, before I met you and your teaching, I was here in life and now I'm here. Whether that be husband and wives, relationships being stronger. I've got a lady that sent me a letter in the mail that she was looking at suicide about 3 months ago, and now her life has completely changed. But definitely just the impacting people's lives. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, and that's why I love the podcast. That's why I love, me interacting with people on a daily basis saying, hey, adversity is either here, it just left, or it's coming. So what's going to determine how we deal with that adversity is how better we equip ourselves for when adversity comes.
So at the end of the day, everyone out there has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I hope that I strive every day, and I hope that people look at me and what I look at myself is a servant leader that understands humility and service. And that's something that I want to be known for. I tell my boys, the day at my funeral, I don't want it to be valued of my life on how much money I left in the bank, how much money I left to them, but do they have thousands of people coming to them saying, your dad impacted my life. Your dad made a change in my life.
So as a former athlete, if you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see one game with your own eyes, where are you going?
Um, Man, that's a tough one. I'm a big World Series fanatic baseball junkie.
Yeah.
So I would say pick any of the Dodgers Yankees World Series.
Okay.
That's something that, those older guys, I mean, we've got, data tells you that we have got the better pitchers, the better hitters than the Babe Ruths and Joe DiMaggio's, the Hank Aaron's, all of those guys that played before. But just for me, the Ted Williams, just watching their grit, Joe, they didn't have all the equipment. They didn't have the understanding of nutrition. Babe Ruth was smoking cigars and eating hot dogs, but they had this grit. They had this tenacious personality that they said, you know what, I'm going to hit that baseball as far as I can. And anything to do with old school baseball is definitely where you would put me in to make me be the happiest guy ever.
So Jeremy, if anyone wants to reach out, they want to know more about what you do with your company and all of the things that you're busy doing, where's the best place for them to go?
The best place, Joe, is at Jeremy Fouts Leadership. That's my Instagram. That is the best way. They can also go to jeremyfouts.com and roll on my email list. But if they want to get in touch with me and learn more about my life, I try to post daily pictures of what I'm eating, my training. It's a way to them to get into my personal life is definitely my Instagram at Jeremy Fouts Leadership.
Right on. Jeremy, this has been wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your story. Keep doing the wonderful work out there.
Same to you, Joe. Thank you very much.